I found my mother-in-law's secret letter. Debbie now. Get your revenge. I stared at the letter in my trembling hands. My mother-in-law's handwriting. The woman who had called me crazy for 35 years, who had taken her son's side every single time. She knew. She had always known. My name is Debbie Richardson. I'm 61 years old, and this is the story of how one letter destroyed my family and saved my life. The funeral home smelled of lilies and lies. My mother-in-law, Patricia, had passed away at 84, dignified until the end. The perfect matriarch. Everyone spoke about her grace, her devotion to family, her unwavering love for her son, Mark. My husband stood at the podium, tears streaming down his face. My mother was a saint. She held our family together through everything. I sat in the back row, silent, as I had been for 35 years. After the service, the lawyer approached me. Mrs. Richardson? Patricia left specific instructions. This letter is for you. To be read alone. The envelope was sealed with red wax, old-fashioned. Like Patricia herself, I waited until I got to my car. My hands shook as I broke the seal. Dear Debbie, if you're reading this, I'm gone. And I'm a coward. Because I should have given you this letter 35 years ago. I know what Mark did to you. I've always known. The words blurred. I thought I was going to be sick. Was this really happening? I was in the kitchen the first time he hit you. 6 months after your wedding. I heard the crash. I heard you scream. I heard him tell you to shut up. I stood at the door, my hand on the knob. But I didn't open it. I told myself it was none of my business. That you two would work it out. That our family's reputation mattered more than whatever was happening in that room. The next morning, you came downstairs with a bruise on your cheek. You said you'd walked into a cabinet. Mark said you were clumsy. And I agreed with him. Debbie's always been accident-prone, I said at breakfast. I saw the light die in your eyes that moment. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I remembered that day. God, I remembered it so clearly. I had been 26 years old, a newlywed. I had believed that marriage was supposed to be hard, that I needed to try harder, be better, make him happier. The bruise had lasted 2 weeks. I'd covered it with makeup, smiled at the neighbors, pretended everything was perfect. Was I crazy for staying, or was I just surviving? Patricia's letter continued. It happened again. And again. I saw the ER visits, the falls down the stairs, the car accidents. I knew Debbie. Every time. But I was a coward. And now I'm giving you what I should have given you decades ago. Evidence and permission. In my safe, you'll find everything. Hospital records, photos I took when you didn't know, recordings, and something else proof that Mark has been embezzling from his company. The code to the safe is your birthday. April 17, 1964. Debbie, I failed you when you needed me most. But I won't fail you now. Get your revenge. For both of us. Patricia, I sat in that parking lot for 2 hours. Cars came and went. People went on with their normal lives. And I realized my silence protected him. My silence destroyed me. 3 days later, I went to Patricia's house. Mark had inherited it, but he hadn't been there yet. Too busy grieving at the golf course. The safe was in her bedroom closet, behind a portrait of Mark as a boy. Smiling. Innocent. My fingers trembled as I entered the code. 04171964. Click. Inside, a thick manila folder. And a small jewelry box. I opened the folder first. Page 1, emergency room intake form. March 1989. Patient presents with fractured wrist. Claims she fell downstairs. Bruising pattern inconsistent with reported mechanism of injury. The doctor had known. He had written it down. But no one had done anything. Page 2 photos. Me, sleeping in a hospital bed. My face swollen. Black eye. Split lip. I didn't even know she'd taken these photos. 5 ER visits, all documented. All dismissed. Then another section. Bank statements. Offshore accounts. Forged signatures. Mark had been stealing from his family's construction company for 12 years. Nearly $800,000. Patricia had known about that too. The jewelry box contained a small USB drive and a note recording from November 2003. Mark confessing to his father. His father told him to handle me if I ever found out. Handle me. I plugged the USB into Patricia's laptop. Mark's voice filled the room. She's getting suspicious, Dad. What if she finds out? His father's reply, then make sure she keeps her mouth shut. Like you always do. Mark's laugh. Don't worry. She knows what happens when she talks too much. I felt my stomach turn. This was my life. This was my marriage. But as I sat there in Patricia's bedroom, surrounded by 35 years of evidence, I realized something else. This was my weapon. I spent the next week making copies, organizing files, meeting with lawyers in secret. But then my phone rang. Mom, it's Sarah, my daughter-in-law, my son Jason's wife, 25 years old, sweet, quiet, too quiet. Can we meet, please? It's urgent. We met at a coffee shop across town. When Sarah walked in, she was wearing sunglasses. Inside. She sat down and didn't say anything for a long moment. Then she removed the glasses. A dark purple bruise circled her left eye. Her lip was split. No, no. Sarah. It was Jason. Her voice broke. He's been doing this for 6 months. Since we got married. My hands went cold. My son. My boy. The child I had protected, raised, loved. I tried to tell him to stop. I said I'd leave. And he said, she started crying. He said, my mom stayed. You'll stay too. The world tilted. My silence had taught him this. My survival had become his instruction manual. Sarah, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I know you didn't. But Jason told me about your marriage. He said his dad kept you in line. He said that's how marriage works. I thought I was going to vomit. All these years, I thought I was protecting my children by staying quiet, by keeping the family together, by not making waves. But I hadn't protected them. I had taught my son to be a monster. Is this my fault? Did I do this to her? Sarah, listen to me. I grabbed her hands. You're leaving him. Today. Right now. And I'm going to help you. But what about the family? What about... Forget the family. This ends now. I spent 2 weeks preparing. I consulted with lawyers. Filed police reports for Sarah. Got her a restraining order. Moved her into a women's shelter temporarily. And then I planned Thanksgiving dinner. I called everyone. Mark, Jason, my daughter Emily, Sarah. I'm hosting this year, I said. Patricia would have wanted us together. Mark was surprised but pleased. Finally acting like a wife again, he muttered. Just wait. Thanksgiving Day. I set the table with Patricia's fine china. Cooked a perfect turkey. Made all of Mark's favorite dishes. We ate. We made small talk. Jason kept glancing at Sarah, who sat as far from him as possible. Then, after dessert, I stood up. I have something to share with all of you. A tribute to Patricia. I turned on the TV. The first image, my hospital photo from 1991, swollen face. Bruises. Mark's fork clattered to his plate. What the hell? Patricia took this photo while I was unconscious. She documented everything, Mark. 35 years of your abuse. Emily gasped. Mom. Another image. ER records. Fractures. Concussions. Falls down the stairs. She also documented this. Bank statements appeared. Offshore accounts. Forged signatures. You've been stealing from your own father's company for 12 years. $800,000. Mark stood up, his face red. You crazy bitch. Don't. My voice was ice. Don't you ever call me that again? I turned to Jason. And you. You learned from the best, didn't you? Sarah showed me what you did to her. Jason's face went white. That's between me and my wife. She's not your wife anymore. She filed for divorce yesterday. And she has a restraining order. The room exploded. Mark was yelling. Jason was yelling. Emily was crying. And for the first time in 35 years, I didn't feel afraid. I felt free. I've given all of this evidence to the police, I said calmly. Mark, you'll be hearing from them soon. Jason, Sarah's lawyer, will be in touch. Mark lunged toward me, but I didn't flinch. Touch me and I'll add assault to the charges. He stopped. Because for the first time he realized I wasn't afraid of him anymore. The trial took 6 months. Mark was charged with embezzlement. The statute of limitations had expired on the domestic violence, but the financial crimes were enough. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison. Jason and Sarah's divorce was finalized. She got full custody of their protection order, and Jason was mandated to attend anger management. Emily came to see me after the sentencing. "Mom, I'm so sorry." I had no idea. All those years. I hid it well. I held her hand. Too well. "Why didn't you tell us?" Because I was ashamed. Because I thought it was my fault. Because I thought staying was the brave thing to do. I looked at my daughter. But staying wasn't brave. It was just survival. "What are you going to do now?" I smiled. "Live." I started volunteering at a women's shelter. Helping other survivors. Sharing my story. Telling them it's never too late to leave. Never too late to speak up. Sarah volunteers with me now. She's going back to school. She smiles again. One day, a woman approached me after a support group. She was in her early 60s, bruises on her arms. "I heard your story," she said quietly, "about how you waited 35 years. And I thought, if you can speak up at 61, maybe I can too." 2 weeks later, she left her husband. 3 months later, she sent me a photo. Her and her grandchildren, smiling. The card said, "Thank you for showing me it's never too late." I keep that card on my refrigerator. Some people say I destroyed my family, but I didn't destroy anything. And that's when I finally started living. I stopped pretending. Silence isn't protection. Silence is complicity. And I'm done being silent. There's an old saying, often attributed to Edmund Burke, "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good people to do nothing." But I would add sometimes the good people are the victims themselves. And doing nothing isn't weakness. It's survival. For 35 years I survived. But survival isn't the same as living. The ancient Roman philosopher Seneca once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." I wasted 35 years living in fear, living in silence, living as half a person. At 61, I reclaimed my voice. Some people think that's too late, that I should have left sooner, that I should have been braver. But here's what I learned. Courage doesn't have an expiration date. Your voice doesn't get weaker with age. It gets stronger. Because when you've survived hell, speaking the truth becomes easy. If you're watching this and you're in a situation like mine, whether you're 25 or 65, please hear me. You don't owe anyone your silence. Not your husband, not your family, not society. Your life is worth more than someone else's reputation. Your safety is worth more than keeping the peace. And your voice, no matter how long it's been silent, still has power. Patricia gave me evidence, but she also gave me permission. Permission to stop protecting the person who hurt me. Permission to stop being ashamed. Permission to live. You don't need a letter from someone else to give you that permission. You can give it to yourself. Right now. Today. It's never too late to speak your truth. It's never too late to leave. It's never too late to live. The end. Don't forget to share this with the people you care about. Please subscribe me and see you again.